What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1
and Docile Creature.
And today we're back at it answering more questions from you guys in another spine-tingling episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. Also, we have super thanks. If you guys want a guaranteed answer and you want to support the channel, hit us up with a super thanks. We will answer it for the next episode, and it will be a thumbnail question. Now, let's give a warm welcome to this the Docile Creature, who comes over from the One Mind Syndicate podcast channel, a channel where we review the Horus Heresy Primarch series. We're reading the books, so if you guys want to check that out, you'll get to listen to his soothing voice.
Hello there.
And at the same time, get all of our input into what we think of the Horus Heresy books. But anyways, this question comes from
Last Ronin. His question is, now that the dust has settled on all the controversial things in Warhammer 40K, such as female custodies and the Primaris Space Marines, what are your thoughts?
That's a good question. I think I remember how controversial Primaris were, because it was like, it felt like a cash grab from Games Workshop of kind of like, you guys have been playing your Space Marine army forever. It's yours. It's special. But guess what?
It's done.
Yeah, but guess what? Now we want you to buy all new models.
Yeah, re-buy the models, repaint them, relearn them. Basically saying your old stuff is no longer valid. You got to jump in and flesh out that moolah.
I was not as angry as I think the internet was, because I thought that the Primaris Marines looked cool. And the concept of, well, we're doing this because we want the size of the Marine to match the rest. I thought that was pretty, I'm sold. That makes sense.
I think the only controversial thing that they did was saying it was something different than a Firstborn. Because in reality, they're essentially, nowadays especially, they're essentially just a new sculpt for a Space Marine. Mm-hmm. And if they would have handled it like that, instead of saying it was a new Primaris Marine, I think people probably still would have been mad because I have to buy all new Space Marines. But it wouldn't feel like a lore change. It wouldn't feel like a whole different thing, a cash grab or whatever. Because I was thinking about this the other day, actually. When the new Terminator sculpts came out, there wasn't an uproar about it. Right. It's like, I have all these Terminators already. I'm going to have to buy more Terminators. There was none of that. And if they would have done the exact same thing for Primaris, I don't know if there would have been as much of an uproar.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think whenever anybody feels like Games Workshop is changing the lore, that's when they get pretty angry. Even though now I look at the Primaris, like the whole concept of crossing the Rubicon, the 3 additional gene seed organs, I like it. I like that the lore that they built behind this new model.
Yeah, and even then the lore wasn't 100% set in stone, because they were saying, the Primaris Marine fixes the gene deficiencies from like the Canis Helix, the Red Thirst, and then they kind of went back on it and said, no. These Primaris are still, succumbing to this stuff.
Yeah. I actually feel that they should have done that for the Orc Boy, the new Orc Boy. Like somehow the Beast Naga boys were going to be the new Orc Boy, but they didn't. They just gave us a new kit. There was no uproar or anything for that because of the same reason that you're saying, Docile Creature, but at the same time, I kind of wish, I gotten some cool lore that explains why my old orcs don't look like the new ones.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see ways to kind of incorporate the lore to the actual tabletop. And for the most part, I think they can explain anything that happens. Obviously, retcons do happen here and there, but I think GW does a pretty okay job at making things make sense.
Yeah. Now, the big controversial topic right now is Adeptus Custodes becoming women. Is that something that got, did they take it away? Did they...
no, they never,
backpedal?
Backpedaled.
No.
They just kind of, so they said it in the Codex, it got leaked in the Codex first, and then the internet blew up, and then I believe it was a member of the Twitter Warhammer page said, there was always female Space Marines, and then people got more upset with that, going back and pulling really old codices and saying, the brotherhood of the Custodes. It's well, is it really a brotherhood, or all the men? And it's there's women here, so it's why are they going back and saying this was always the case, when if you look back at old actual facts, it's not the case. But again, things get retconned all the time.
Yeah, and I think the confusion happened because a lot of people were mistaking the lore for the Adeptus Custodes with the Space Marines. Because yes, there were female Space Marines in like Rogue Trader or whatever that thing was called, but then the Adeptus Custodes was a brotherhood. Now looking at it for what it is, what do you guys feel?
I could honestly care less. Like, even if they were to change it, a complete change, like before Custodes were all dudes and now it's both, like, whatever. Like, what does it really change? Other than, like, it's not all dudes. And I've actually heard good arguments for both sides, I guess, which is, like, not just the incel arguments, so, like, ill women. Of Space Marines not being women.
Yeah.
I don't really care about that either. But to me, like, you can do whatever you want to your models. I don't really fucking care. Like, the lore is important, but I don't think we should be hating each other over a lore change.
Yeah, like I've said before, put a helmet on them. You're not going to tell the difference anyway. It's not like...
Just have... Yeah. Or even if you put female heads on your Space Marines, like, whatever.
They still play the exact same way. The gameplay isn't messed up at all. And if you don't want to put females in your Custodia army, then don't. No one's forcing you to.
I think, though, the big... I sympathize with the people that get angry just because it was the concept of gaslighting, right? Like, of Games Workshop going, like, no, they've always been here. It's like, no, like, the lore was established. So it goes back to the Primaris concept where whenever anybody changes the lore, that's what they get mad about. There was a brotherhood, and now the brotherhood is gone. Now it's the Adeptus Custodes that, that changed. Even though I don't think the Adeptus Custodes should be a standalone army. That's my opinion. But
and I think it got more like influence and more widespread because who plays the Custodes? Henry Cavill. Who's going to have this new Amazon TV show around 40K? Henry Cavill. So it's like everybody's like blowing this out of proportion because you have this like celebrity kind of endorsing 40K and it's become more mainstream. And now you get other people who have no idea what 40K was putting in their 2 cents in. And that's where a lot of people got confused because I saw people saying, oh, wait, there's female Space Marines? No. Like, nobody ever said there was female Space Marines. It was all Custodes. But since they don't know the difference between a Custodian and a Space Marine, they lumped it all together. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And, of course, everybody just wants to be the controversial one. They want to bring in clicks, bring in views. So, of course, people are blowing this out of proportion, calling it, like, a whole big thing, when in reality, I don't think it was that big of an issue.
And I think when it comes to controversial topics, that's what we should pay attention to. It's like, how many of the people that are speaking out are actually 40K fans?
And that's the thing, though, that gets confusing because so many people, like I said, people are jumping in that never have played 40K, don't even know what 40K is, but they're saying, oh, they're infusing women into here, they got to throw in their agendas out. It's like, do you even know what this is?
And that happened a lot on YouTube because YouTube, like, my feed was flooded with people I've never seen before talking about Adeptus Custodes and calling them like weird ass things.
Like, whoa, you're a cooking channel.
Yeah.
What are like what?
Let them cook.
Yeah. Also, Henry Cavill playing Adeptus Custodes doesn't prove anything. I think he's a implant. What is it called? A plant.
A plant. Yeah.
Because Adeptus Custodes didn't come out. I think it was Skitarii, Gene Stealers, and then Adeptus Custodes. And for him to be like, I've been playing forever. Motherfucker, you're older than me and you say your first army was Adeptus Custodes? Get the fuck out of here. But anyways.
That's the real controversial question.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's a bitch. But yeah.
Did you hear he's about to be a dad?
I don't care.
I knew you wouldn't have heard.
That's cool. That's good for him.
But fuck that guy.
Yeah.
No, I like Henry Cavill. I'm not a Henry Cavill denier like some people.
He's not a true 40K guy.
But what is a true 40K guy?
Somebody who played orcs.
I guess none of us are.
Yeah, I've never. Well, I mean, no, there was a time where we swapped armies. I played orcs once.
Yeah. So did you, Docile Creature, didn't you?
I hope not.
You played Necrons, which is a close second. And not only that, but you played Necrons back when they were just robot zombies.
Oh, there you go. That's another thing of lore that changed. Necrons used to be just mindless what are the T-1000s?
Yeah.
They were Terminators essentially.
And why was that not controversial, even though it kind of
It
was?
was.
But also because I think not that many people played Necrons.
It was
There's
Xenos,
Yeah.
We took the entire time talking about this controversial topic, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys have more questions, please comment down in the comment section below. We'll talk tomorrow, and check out the One Mind Syndicate podcast.
That's right. As always, it's been the Sound Alchemist here with
Gershwan.
And WAAAGH Reacher.
and we are out of here.
Oh, if you could put my